thing wobbin', wobbin', wobbin'. When I come around, got the whole thing wobbin'.
Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another video. So in today's video I have a couple of tips and tricks for you guys to make some more Robux on Roblox and to possibly one day be rich. So some of the suggestions that I have for you guys are ones that I use for myself and of which kind of help me accrue wealth over time. So the first and I would say probably most important tip is do not ever buy game passes. Now, I don't know what type of games you're into or any of that stuff, but if you're just getting into a new game especially, it's not worth it to buy it because, for example, recently I got into Pet Simulator X and I spent about 2,000 Robux and I haven't touched the game for weeks. Now, the only reason why I wanted to buy that in the first place was for videos, so that's kind of like the only leeway that you have is if you're a bigger YouTuber. I'd say about maybe 1,000 up. If you're below that, I don't really think it's worth it because you're most likely not going to make any money off of that. So if you're one of those smaller YouTubers who are trying, it's okay to try, but I wouldn't recommend spending money on game passes at that point in time. And especially if you're not a YouTuber and you're just trying to get rich on Roblox, never ever buy game passes. I get it, you want to get better, but eventually, any type of Robux that you accrue over time is just going to be spent to these game passes and you're never going to be able to make more Robux than you really should. The second tip that I have is if you're going to buy a limited, your best bet is to either buy a valued limited at a lower than normal price or to buy a regular limited when it's super low to either trade off or to sell for that higher price. So what is a valued limited and what is a regular limited? So a value limited is something of which you could look on Rollymons. So for example, an item such as Green Banded Top Hat. This would be something that is considered valued since even though it has about 7,000 wrap, it has a value of 9,000, of which means that's how much people would give for this item. Now a regular limited would be something of which does not have a value, such as Grotesque Pile of 100,000 Eyeballs, Shaggy, and more. These are items of which are generally lower and are not really worth it to buy once again unless they are sold for a lower than normal price. So how do you determine if something is worth it to buy? The best way to do this is to look at its recent average price, and not the current one but throughout time. Rollymons is a great way to look at this as they provide charts of which how much it sells for and how many are sold in a day. So you could get a general idea of about how much it can sell for and how little it can sell for. And what you do is you try to get an idea of where that average is. So say for example, Grotesque Pile of 100,000 Eyeballs. I would say in the past month it looks like it's selling for about 1,300 Robux. So if it were to sell at about, say, 800, that would be a great deal. And why I say that is because even if you can't sell at that higher than normal price, you could sell at that base price and still make a profit. Because keep in mind that Roblox does take 30% of all sales. So when you sell it, you will not get that full 1,300, but instead a different number. So when you sell an item on Roblox, you will not get the full amount that you sell it for. So for example, if I were to sell the Grotesque Eyeballs for 1,300 Robux, I'd only receive 910. Thus, if I were to buy for 800, I would be gaining 110 Robux. And if you slowly do this over time and you kind of keep an eye out for limiteds that are selling lower than normal, you can slowly but surely start to accrue wealth. And this is actually something that I did for a while, but recently it seems like people haven't really been selling that low. Also, I forgot to mention this through my original run through the video. Another way of getting a lot of Robux is waiting for big events to come out. So one of the bigger events that'll be coming out this October will be Headless, and what happens generally is a lot of people are really interested in Headless, and what they'll do is they'll sell their limiteds for a lot cheaper to make as much Robux as they can in the quickest possible time. So when that happens, what you want to do is you want to jump on and buy all their limiteds. That way they can get their Headless and you can just wait for it to go back up and you can sell it for a pretty big profit. So yeah, I just really quickly wanted to add that in. And the third and final tip I have for you guys, of which is a little bit more on the shadier side of things, but if you don't care about other people, then this is perfect for you. So there's a thing called projecteds. So essentially what these are is basically a limited that should be about, I'd say about 1,000 is usually what they'll go for. And someone will buy it, say for example, for 500,000 Robux. And generally these people will have a horde of them so that they can trade them off so that they can make back how much they spent and more. So when this happens, you want to jump on the train as well and try to find someone who doesn't know what they're doing, and you trade them for an item of which seems like a really good trade for them but is actually a good trade for you. So let's just say, for example, the story that I said earlier about the 1,000 average but is sold for 500,000. That would raise an item to about, say, 50,000 if not more, And what you'll do is you'll find someone who doesn't really know what they're doing, and what you're going to do is you're going to ask them like, hey, can I get this face for 30,000 and I'll give this item that's worth 50,000. It's a really good trade for you. I'm quitting and I just wanted that face really bad. This is considered sharking, but it depends how truthful you are with it. But for me personally, when I do projected tradings, I let them know like, hey, this is a projected, it's not worth it, but if you'd like to flip it on someone else, I would like this item. So it really depends how you want to do it, but that is a really, really, really good way to make Robux. And if you decide to sell those items, you will make way more than you ever spent on that item. So hopefully this helped you guys out a little bit. I'm sorry I couldn't provide any more, but these are just 3 ideas that came to mind and I ran with it. So that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.